everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are looking at episode 8 or 9 of What If Civilization Started Over, Season 2. Let's get into the video. In the last episode, we saw the Yellow Team Civil War occur, and we're going to be picking up where we left off last episode with the Yellow Team here, who right now is going to focus, or I think they already died. I don't think this is their actual color anymore yet. but they're gonna keep fighting. I'm pretty sure this is still them. And they'll take over this pocket right here and a few more of these areas. Like that. And this area. But yeah, they've lost like all their power. The military doesn't want to fight for them anymore. So eventually, they will just keep fighting until the capital and all the cities around it are taken by Taiwan, which is like insane. But while that was happening, the other groups took all the rest of the land, so, you know. And now we have to see the peace treaty of the Yellow Team, which is going to take place up here in South Korea. And here's the start of the peace treaty. And it's pretty confusing, so let's just get into it. The Vietnamese team will take all this area, including Hainan Island. So they got the trade route up here now. Or there, yeah, they have the whole trade route now for the most part, besides for this little bit right here. So they are getting really rich again. But anyway, up to here, these guys will be taking all this land. So that's going to be where they take. Then we have this team, who will be taking all. They're going to be taking all of this land. And we have that red team here, that's taking the rest. And then we got the red team, who's just going to be annexing these little area over here, because that was like where this team really wanted to be. And then we have the rest of the area, who is right here. We also have Taiwan, who isn't really included in the peace treaties yet. They still can't find a compromise for that part. But these are like the new borders now. And the next thing to happen is this area right here in the next part of the treaty is going to be given over to these guys, because it was really hard for them to hold on to the land. And then we see them dividing their land up among two different groups. The Taiwanese and the LT. And here's what they get. So they get all of this land right here, which is a lot. And I don't really like this up here, so we're going to be fixing this province. That's okay. Okay, there we go. That's how it goes. So the Yellow Team is kind of forced down into this weird shape, with the Taiwanese taking some of the lesser valuable area instead of like the closest. But now we need to see the capitals. Capital over here. The next capital will be invading between this one and this one. I think it'd probably end up being this one, even though it's not in like the best spot. And these guys are actually not the Taiwanese team, because they were originally not on Taiwan at all. So they're just going to be over here. So it's now like Taiwan's their a territory of them instead. So, oh yeah, And then we have one last capital going here. And that ends the yellow team's civil war. Right now, we need to talk about the cyan team, who is currently, they've just got a new leader. And of course, these guys are more tribal. They're more, like, I don't want to say uncivilized, but they are more tribal. They have more tribal life than the rest of the areas. So, they're going to be exploring a little bit more, and they're kind of adopting expansionist policies. And at this point, we're like we're in like the 10,000, like we just hit like the year 1,000 probably, or maybe even shorter than that. But we got a lot of stuff to get to today. But these guys will go ahead and expand onto the Papua New Guinea land, or I think what do they call this island? Just Papua. I don't know what they call it, but they will be expanding onto here. Okay, no. And it'll look something like this. But that is not all, because these guys are starting to build up a really strong military and a big population as well. They're starting to slowly get there. And we just see more and more like major, like Ada's Pro has said before, these are major settlements, not like cities. The really only cities there are mainly up here, the red team and the old yellow team, the Vietnamese country of India, and then each other country probably has like a few major one or two major cities, actual major cities. But these guys will end up probably have about 3 by the time it's done. So these guys are a little bit stronger than the average country, definitely, because the average country is probably like these guys right now. And they're going to start attacking. So first, they kind of just repel the Philippines from their land in Borneo. And they take an island there. And when that's all said and done, they kind of just take it for themselves. It's not really a peace treaty. This makes the Philippines really mad. But they can't really do anything about it at the moment. So they'll just leave it be. And when it's all said and done, it'll look just like this. And, okay, we're doing it perfectly that time. I'll take over these 2 islands, and yeah, just like I said, all said and done. Boom. And that's really all we see this episode, but next episode, they'll be coming for these guys over here, so stay tuned for that. But now we need to go over to the Middle East. Because the desert is being explored more and more, and it gets to where all the south is just being discovered. And they're even going in this way now. And they're getting close to discovering all the Arabian Peninsula. But up here in Turkey, in the Anatolian Peninsula, they're going to keep exploring, and they're going to go around Turkey. And they're going to find all this area. Yeah, they're just going to find a lot of stuff. And they'll find all the Greece, and yeah, it's pretty nice. It's just very nice over there. And it is a lot different than everywhere else. So we see a lot of expansion and new settlements. So here is the expansion, and starting off up here, the Mediterranean country will be expanding into this land right here. We're gonna try to fix that up a little bit. Something more like that. That works. The Mesopotamia is gonna expand like this, so very a lot of land now. Persia will expand into these 2 lands right here. And the UAE is gonna be expanding a lot down into the deserts. They look like that now. And so will Yemen. So it looks like this now. We're gonna adjust this a little bit. So it looks just a little better. But yeah, there we go. So that's the expansion. But the next thing we also see is a new Greek country over here. So this is really the first, I would say, European country. It is actually the first European country. No country, unless you want to count Azerbaijan. But yeah, these guys are going to expand rapidly. Their population it just gets humongously big, especially for someone like Greece, who just started out. But they will keep expanding up and exploring up this area, even onto Italy, where most of Italy will be discovered. And these guys just love to explore, and they'll even eventually discover Africa down here. So yeah, these guys love to explore. They have a mainly explored population, so you just come over here if you want to explore new places. Because they have they just, yeah, have a lot of that kind of stuff. But eventually they'll expand into something like this. So that's good and all, but now we need to add major and a capital city. So unlike their capital city being in this big city right here, they're actually going to move it over onto this little island right here. So this isn't like Athens, but it is pretty close by. So there we go. So yeah, the Mediterranean is slowly being discovered. And next episode, we're going to see a lot more of that. If you thought this was all you're doing for the Mediterranean today, you would be wrong, as a lot more exploration is coming. And eventually, we wrap around the Adriatic, so it's all explored. We go through like the beginning of the Alps here, and we venture into France. And around this time, we start to see another country pop up. And this will actually be another red team, but this has no correlation to the last one at all. It's just another color that I can use. So, yeah, that's why these guys are here. But they will start out down here in the little boot of Italy, with their city here, and they are a coastal kind of empire. So yeah, this is definitely going to be an empire, because it's going to get a lot bigger. Because the first thing they do is they make a little settlement over here, and they go down to where it was explored down here, and they also make a little settlement. And they just start venturing around, and they also discover Malta in the process of getting down to there, and Tunisia. So you know what's going to happen. They're going to expand into the coast of Tunisia. And remember, down here, like, there's nothing wrong with down here, because it's not a desert anymore. So yeah, expansion can freely go there. Which is also kind of like the Arabian Peninsula. Like, the desert problems have mostly been fixed here. There are still some desert areas in this very center here. Like, most of this land right here is still going to be, like, desert-y, like Sahara. Not Sahara, like savanna. But the rest is, like, forests. And there really aren't just deserts on Earth at this point anymore. But there are some areas that are slowly going to change into deserts. Or grow bigger, as like the Gobi Desert over here. It's really big right now. Like, if we were to turn this off, it'd be probably about like that big. So yeah, the Gobi Desert's like humongous. It's really the only big desert on the planet. What we see happening, however, is a pretty big Indian country being formed here up in the north. And this is where it's at. There's a lot of just good overall factors that play into like population stuff. So they are able to grow pretty rapidly, and they'll put their capital right there, kind of away from the Indian Peninsula. They don't really associate themselves with India, who at this point, the Indian idea is like all of this area down up to here. All of that area, so it doesn't really include this area right here. But now we need to take a look at another war. It is up here between this little red team and the dark purple team, as the light red team, or the maroon team, or whatever you call this, will send their forces down into the dark blue team to just take some of this land for themselves. Because they want more land. That's really it. And they end up taking this major city. But eventually they will get mobilized, and they will start to fight back. Even pulling off a tiny little counteroffensive over here, where they didn't really have any troops stationed. Now, think this, yeah, the alliance here is still a thing. But, so they will be coming to their aid. And, they will start to send forces over here into this land right here. Which will just kind of just do that. And eventually it'll just become more like this, to where they're going to start fighting back here, which will kind of eliminate that front line. So it's not really going well for them at all. This is where they will get help from these guys right here, as these guys will send a ton of their forces in to help them. And yeah, they are still a very strong nation, even though they're really small. They have a lot of population, really good military still. So with their help, they're able to take back the major cities that they lost. But they will lose more land right here close to the capital city. And they are being threatened of being cut off from the other side of the nation, which eventually will lead to the fall of the Northern Territory up here. And they will threaten the old Vincino Empire, or who really isn't an empire. It's not really ruled by the Vincinos anymore, who just kind of fell apart. But they'll threaten them to leave the war or stop helping, which they do. And so at this point, they'll just send their military in to take the rest of it, and they will meet in the capital city with the words ending this conflict. The only thing we really see happening over here is all this land right here going over to the Indian team, and the rest of the land going over to this country right here. Without the other countries gone. But we do see a little exchanging of land for the help, something about like that. So that was this, and what is this alliance's problem? Like, what is their problem? Well, they don't like any of the countries that spat out from the Vincino Empire. They just hate them all, which there only was 3. But they just didn't really like the land, so they thought if they owned it, it'd be a lot better. So that was the purpose of that war. And now we got a few more events left to end the video. Just like the yellow team before them, the red team is going to start to crumble. Who at this point, the yellow team has left the alliance because they felt betrayed that they took land in the thing. They're gone. They're out of the alliance. They don't. The new government doesn't really associate themselves with the red team anymore. They just don't really talk at all. And now it's just down to them and the Korean team. But this really doesn't help because there is a really big civil war going on in the south here, especially, which includes this little area right here, who are like extreme loyalists to the red team, so they're gonna kind of stay. Well, the rest of this area is just gonna fall, and this includes all of the major cities like around it. The red team, of course, is not going to go out down to fight, so they will start taking back some of this land. But plot armor cannot save them now, as the green team will get the jump on the war, take over this esclave right here, and take over some lost land over here that they lost. And they're going to start attacking the purple team, who can't really fight at this point. They don't really have any military, or a good one at that, so they can't really fight up. And eventually they will lose all their land over to the green team, who says they're done with the war. They're going to take what they got, and they'll hopefully get some of the land from the peace treaty. And the red team could not care less right now, because they are in a brutal, bloody civil war. Probably one of the bloodiest conflicts so far, such for like the yellow team one, who's probably in the Vincino Empire struggle. But they're probably at about 5 million deaths right now, which is a lot of deaths. Like, this is like humongous. But the population of the world is probably at like 200 million right now, or probably at more like 400 million. So 5 million is a lot, definitely is, but it's not as bad as it could be. And the red team, and most of this happens in the struggle for this little land right here. But this is where the groups kind of split off about what to do next. And it's divided into two different groups. And this one over here is extremely they're really strong, basically, is what I'm getting at. And the peace team was using their forces to go up here and to attack this land, who wasn't really valued. Like, the land up here isn't that important. So they got mad and they split off. And with that, they're going to attack the peace team as well, and send a lot of their forces there too, which leads to the red team fighting back these dudes as well. But we're not done just yet, because another little group is going to split off from the red team right here. So yeah, it was just a bloody conflict. But eventually the red team will make kind of a fortification. If I can, here we'll use the gray color. They make like a fortification around their cities right like this. So by the time the peace team gets to this fortification, they can take that major city, but that's about all they can do now. And down here, the red team is gonna fight back at the team, and they're gonna go around their kind of fortification they built, and they're gonna start cutting off the lime team. And the pink team at this point is going to be invading into the peach team still. And they're still going full force, full throttle, taking a lot. But eventually, the government will have a major uprising. They want things to change. And yeah, eventually, the government will fall, and a new government will rise. But this did not end the conflict at all. There's still going to be a lot of conflict, as the new government wants all the old land back, so they're going to send a lot of their forces out to the peach team, abandoning the fortifications, leading to a lot of fight and pushback around here. And eventually, all three of the groups will sign peace, and they will be like, they kind of sign peace with each other to fight against the new red team government. And it goes really well, but eventually a peace treaty will be reached. And here's a peace treaty, so we can start off by looking at the lime team, who will take this land right here, and they will kind of abandon some of the land down here. So yeah, that looks about right. The pink team will get these little spots, and the peach team down here will get a little bit more, like that much. But the red team will take some land here, but the peach team will take some land back there. So it looks about like this now. And the green team will also be taking a lot of land, including the Esclave, and some land from the pink team right here. Probably about that much. Ending the conflict. This is what it looks like. You may notice that the red team kind of still exists down here in the actually the yellow team, because it's like their own area from the yellow team that they have. But this group and the yellow team have thoughts of joining back up together, because these two are really close actually, because the new government actually likes this red team. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but there are thoughts of joining up, and that might happen in the next episode. But for now, that'll do it in today's episode. A lot of stuff happened, and two major powers are gone. One of them is still alive. The other one, pretty much gone though. Kind of all of a sudden, I know. But it's been building up to this for all the power struggles they've kind of had throughout the history. And the irony is that kind of the green team actually survived all of their hardships in the very beginning and survived the end. And the red team, like, flourished at the beginning, failed at the end. The green team failed at the beginning, flourished at the end. And yeah, so if you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.